there, and now we'll see if the floodgates open. Gersich on goal! Yes, sir! Shane Gersich makes it 2!
Most college hockey programs around the nation began regular season play this past weekend, but few did so in as emphatic a fashion as the defending national champions. Hello and welcome to North Dakota Hockey with Brad Barry. I'm Alex Heinert. On today's program, we're going to take you through that opening series against Canisius, as well as give you an inside look at the work North Dakota does off the ice in the training room to get ready for game day. We'll also, of course, have the thoughts of the man sitting next to me, the head coach of the University of North Dakota, Mr. Brad Barry. And Coach, one series down, like 18 more to go this season. It's a long road, certainly, but you took the first steps this weekend.
Yeah, we did. Obviously, we had a hard-working team and Canisius coming in. And again, our guys were a little rusty in a few different areas, but I thought they did a good job of building their game and finding a way to win 2 games.
Yeah, this, of course, coming off the back of an exhibition win over Manitoba. It's obviously tough to simulate a real game with real stakes, but you had to feel good about your team coming into this series and their level of preparation to get the season off on the right foot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that you notice is the compete level. Our guys competed extremely hard, and they found a way to build in 2 wins this weekend. And again, sometimes when you get that first win on a Friday night, it's always tough to get that Saturday night win, and I thought our guys did a good job of doing that.
Yeah, we're going to dig into both of those games coming up next here with the coach. Come on back.
North Dakota Hockey with Brad Barry on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota.
Welcome back. We're talking about the opening weekend of the 2016-17 season with the coach Brad Barry, and it felt like a big occasion on Friday to get the season off. This is obviously a place that does occasions right.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime that you can get the Engelstead family into Grand Forks and honor them as far as what they've done for us, obviously with the 15-year anniversary of the Ralph Engelstead Arena, it was a special night in itself. Yeah,
part of that buzz, as you mentioned, the celebration of being the 15th anniversary of this building. Besides being, again, the world's best hockey facility, what does the Ralph mean to your program?
Well, it's our home. It's a place that we like to say that we have home ice advantage for a number of reasons. First of all, with our loyal and passionate fans being loud and being a big part of the college experience for our players. And again, the way our guys play in this rink is phenomenal with consistency. So again, it's great to be back here, and I know our first month of the season is loaded with games here at the Ralph.
Yeah, nice for the local fans to see this team in action so much. There were fireworks after the game. There were a couple during the game as we go to the highlights on Friday. Nice to see championship banner number 8 now in its more permanent place above the rink. And 40 seconds in, off on a good note. Shane Gersich charges the net, finds himself in front of the puck, tosses one in the back to make it 1-0.
Yeah, pretty good entry play getting into the zone. And again, it's nice to get that first goal a few seconds into the game to kind of establish the momentum. And Shane did a good job of getting it, corralling it on his backhand and putting it in that.
Shane Gersich, a guy that has a knack for opening the scoring. But despite being up 1-0, you mentioned afterwards you weren't really pleased with how that first period went.
No, and again, things like this, like not executing a little bit on their entry on the power play. And Cam had to come up with a huge save to keep us with the 1-goal lead.
Yeah, Cam would step up on each occasion here. Again, just a mistake in the back. Gage Osmus losing the puck. Another opportunity Cam, though, comes through for you.
Yep, and again, like Cam didn't get tested very much throughout the whole weekend, but again, when he had to make a key save. You can see how quick his feet are making that save.
Right around the 8-minute mark, Tucker Pullman pushing up from defense, does some nice work along the boards, finds Rhett Gardner. Great finish in front.
Yep, we had a good forecheck there, sustaining some low zone pressure. And again, we talked to our guys about how important it is having a guy in front for net front coverage. They dispersed from front of the net, and Rhett's allowed to score that goal.
A little later in the first, Austin Pagansky pikes for the puck in front of goal. It ends up coming to Chris Wilkie. He slams it home to make it 3-0, or so we thought. A chance to look again at this play. You see the Pagansky, a little interference with the goaltender, a goal eventually disallowed.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure if it was interference or not, but I know one thing, we ask our guys go to net front, and I think Austin was just trying to, hold his balance, and they disallowed the goal. So again, thinking it should have been a goal, but on the other hand, too, we kept working.
One of those big emphasis points this year from the NCAA, trying to protect that goaltender. In the second period, though, you wouldn't have to wait long for goal number 3. Just a minute into the second, it's a 6-on-5 opportunity for you. Osmus fires one off the boards. Paganski right there to capitalize.
Yeah, you know what? We got to give a big assist to Jody Hodgson and the Ralph Engelstad Arena. We got new boards and glass, and part of that is a lively yellow on the bottom there, and it's like an extra player passing the puck, and Pogo makes a great play to get the goal.
Midway through the second, the chance is really starting to mount for you, and after coming close on a couple different occasions, Brock Besser puts this one on frame. Tyson Jost redirects for his first collegiate goal.
Again, net front positioning, so we can tip pucks and take the eyes away from the goaltender. Puck goes to low to high, and you see Tyson working to the front of the net, and he gets a stick on it. And the goal doesn't happen unless he works to get there.
4-0 at that point at the tail end of the second. Canisius on the power play, but you get the goal here. Trevor Olson beating Dixon Bowen in front.
Yeah, we get a shorty. We get a shorthanded goal here, and Trevor does a good job of corralling the puck there, fending off a player, and making a great play to Dixon for his first collegiate goal.
A couple of guys, again, getting on the score sheet. Good to see there. Just a minute later, you'd make it 6. Jost lays it off to Brock Besser here, and Brock does the rest off the pipe, off the back of the goaltender, and in the back of the net.
Yeah, and again, the play started off entry, making a great pass cross ice to Tyson, and Tyson puts it back to Brock, and again, Brock with shot first mentality, and they had to review this, but again, it was a goal.
Yeah, not a goal at first. They eventually, though, get it right. Replay always serves in this situation, and so that puts you up 6-0. You would kind of put it on cruise control from there. Besser's goal capped off a 4-point night to open the season. You come away with a 6-0 victory, 17 saves from Cam Johnson. He's now 5th, by the way, all-time in UND in that category. Here's what Cam and Tucker Pullman had to say about the results.
It's good to get off to a good start, and it's still the first game, and we still have lots of things we could work on. But it was good to get that start.
It's always huge to get a couple pucks early. It helps you kind of settle in and get rid of the nerves. I know, as crazy as it seems, I'm still nervous before every game. So obviously making a couple saves early on is huge, and stopping a breakaway like that was really, really huge for the confidence, really helped me settle in. My past couple of seasons, I've kind of had a rough start to the season, so it was nice just from right off the go to start on a high horse, and I'll hopefully keep rolling with that.
Cam talked there about his start on Friday, again making so many key saves early in that game. A sharp contrast from his start a season ago. He let in the first 2 shots that he faced against Lake Superior State. Obviously, he went on to have a historic season, so it didn't faze him too much. But how important for him to get off the season on a note like that?
Well, very important. Obviously with a new team and having 19 underclassmen and trying to get our feet underneath ourselves as a team in general, it's great to have a guy that has that experience. And he'd be the first one to admit that it's a different year having all that experience. And again, he looks confident, calm, and poised in the net.
6 goals scored from 6 different players. If Wilkie's goal would have counted, you would have had a goal from each of your lines. How important is balance going to be to this team this season?
We always use balance and depth. Depth is a key word as far as having success, and obviously we have some prolific players that will garner a lot of attention. We got to make sure that all of our group is infused in our offensive part of the game.
Yeah, after the game, Tucker Pullman mentioned that this team was expecting a challenge from Canisius on night 2. Stick around. We'll show you how Saturday night's game played out. We're back now with head coach Brad Berry, continuing the conversation about your opening series against Canisius. This is a team out of the Atlantic Hockey Association from Buffalo, New York. Maybe not the best name recognition across the country, but certainly a team that has shown in recent seasons to put up a fight against some of the top teams in the country, and that's what you got on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a program that over the last 12 years under Dave Smith has done a great job. They're a very competitive team. They have a brand new building in Buffalo now to recruit to. It's an up-and-coming program, but again, their compete level was ultra high this weekend, and we had to be ready for them.
Yeah, that nothing-to-lose mentality for Canisius makes for a dangerous team, and we saw that on Saturday as we go to the highlights. Brock Besser, a guy that we expected to be involved from the start, and he certainly was against a new goaltender. They make the switch after Simon Hoffley allowed 6 on Friday. Charles Williams gets the nod on Saturday. A lot of pressure on Williams' goal early.
Yeah, you know what? And we almost scored right here, getting one off the crossbar. Tyson Jost does a great job on the power play, getting it to the net.
A little bit later here in the first period, Chris Wilkie ends up driving to the corner and finding Hayden Shaw, who puts this puck goalward. It just does not quite trickle across.
Yeah, and at this time we're kind of thinking on the bench right now. We're getting a lot of chances, but are we ever going to get one here? But again, our guys stayed with it and stayed the way we played during games.
Another decent chance in the first from your top line. Jost gets a look on goal. 8 shots on frame in that first period for you, though none would find the back of the net. And then they come back with a great chance of their own. 3 shots in the first period, only for the Golden Griffins, but one of them gets in the back of the net.
Yeah, pretty tough to fault Cam on this one. It's on a penalty kill. We didn't hold the line, should have held the line, and then again, we didn't box out or try to get the cross-ice pass. So again, it's on us, and again, they're up 1-0. They got the lead.
Matt Steve to Nick Hutchinson there. First goal allowed for Cam this season. To the second period, things got a little heated. You could tell this was game 2 of a 2-game series. Another chance here for Hutchinson going the other way. Cam makes the save, and then a little pushing and shoving after the fact.
Yeah, and again, I think this started our momentum here. If a little play like this where obviously we give up a shot, but they take an undisciplined penalty on Tucker and gets us on the power play. I think we had 2 or 3 power plays right after that that gave us momentum for the rest of the game here.
Yeah, that seemed to kind of tilt the scales a little bit in your favor. Still trailing 1-0 at this point. Brock Besser nearly taking advantage of a slip on the blue line from the Canisius D. Good block of the shot, but you can just see the skill of this kid. So dangerous anytime he gets the puck.
Obviously attack mentality, shot first mentality, and he makes a great play to come in here. And again, it doesn't get to the net right away, but no, it's the right thing to do.
A little later here, Paganski, another good chance in front. Another case of a guy driving to the net and trying to make something happen.
Well, I think that was a couple of his 11 shots on net. You can tell that he had intensity that night, and again, he led our team as far as the right way to play.
20 shots for you in that second period. We're still down 1-0, however, but you go on the power play here late. 5 minutes left in the period. Chris Wilkie finding Ludwig Hoff, the freshman, does not miss to tie it up at 1.
Huge goal. Obviously, we needed this late in the second period here to get us on track to tie the game up. And a great congratulations to Ludwig for getting his first goal here.
Yeah, first Norwegian to score in a UND uniform. Good moment there. Then minutes later, another penalty on Canisius, another power play opportunity, another one you cash in. Besser to Tucker Poolman. Great slapper from the point.
Great play by a great player there, and then Tucker makes a great shot on net. But the biggest thing that we didn't do in the first 30 minutes of the game is what you're seeing right here. 2 guys in front of the net taking the eyes away from the goaltender. We had nobody in front of the net early, and now we did. And there's a correlation of scoring goals and having guys at net front.
Yeah, Shane Gersich and Trevor Olson providing the double screen on Williams there. And to the third, things got a little more physical. You could tell that passion starting to amp up.
Yep, both teams obviously have a lot of pride here, and they want to win the game. And you can see both sides here playing physical and trying to close the game out.
Shane Gersich there on the receiving end of a couple of the more vicious hits, but if it phased him, it certainly did not show. A couple of minutes later after that last hit, you saw Tyson Jost going to the wraparound. Gersich there to clean up the trap.
Yeah, and again, you saw Shane Gersich get hit a couple of times here. Tyson having a mentality of fending off a couple guys going to the net, but after Shane gets hit, he has a mentality of going to the net for the jam there.
Second goal in as many games for the sophomore, 3-1 at this point. You weren't done though. Hayden Shaw with a perfect pass here from the blue line to the other one, to Austin Paganski, the junior from St. Cloud, doing the rest. A really nice move to make it 4-1.
Yep, great play to get it up to him on the breakaway, but the other thing too is Paganski made a great play on the wall to get it to the middle of the ice, and then he keeps his feet moving to skate to get the breakaway here. So again, it all started with Austin making a great play on the wall.
Yeah, great work effort there. Again, he starts that move and then finishes it off.
Yep.
That would cap off the scoring on the night. You get the 4-1 win to complete the sweep. 43 total shots in the night for your side compared to just 11 for the visitors. Probably a few more penalties than you'd like with 6 total, but a win is a win. Here's what the guys had to say about it afterwards.
In college hockey, it's tough to win 2 games in a row, especially against teams in the NCHC. So we just got to come ready to play every game and don't take anyone lightly.
It's obviously hard to get a sweep and beat the team the second night, especially after last night. I think they came out way harder today. So I think after that first period, we really calmed down in the second and third there and played our game.
We battled a little bit of adversity, and I think that's just a testimony to how our team works here. So I was really happy with how we responded there in the second and third, and I thought we had a good game. I looked over at Gersich there when I think there was about 30 seconds left, and I said, this is the best place ever. It's so fun here, and I mean, the crowd's unbelievable, and just the support we get around this team is just unbelievable. It's second to none. So, I mean, I'm so happy I chose to come here, and I just can't wait to get the rest of the season started with.
Well, first off, Brad, how does it make you feel to hear Tyson Jost have comments like that about how this is a place he's so happy that he chose?
Well, I absolutely love it. I mean, he's a young man that has a focus, and he comes to work hard every single day, and the impact that he's having as a true freshman coming in here, it's remarkable. It's not surprising, but we're very lucky to have him, and I'm glad he made his decision to come here.
Second, some of the comments by Austin Paganski and Brock Besser just about how tough it is to gear up for that second game when you have kind of coasted to a win on Friday. They said, we expected it to be a fight. It was. It's human nature maybe to relax a little bit. Does this make your job now a little bit easier, though, to show these guys, here's what happens when you let up a little bit on
Well,
Saturday?
I think it goes to show that, you know, you can talk about it all you want as far as how tough it's going to be until you get into that game with a lot of young players that once you go through the battle of it, now they can draw on the experience of the game. And again, we'll go through some video and we'll make sure that the next time we'll reinforce it even more.
Yeah. Looking ahead to this weekend, just the one game on the schedule. Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, or thankfully RPI as they're known as, comes into town. They were picked middle of the pack in the ECAC. What's the quick scout on that team?
You know, they're a well-coached team again. They play with pace. You know, they play hard. You know, we're going to go over a little bit more video as the week progresses here. But again, it's a one-game weekend, and again, that's not two games. And you know, they're going to pour everything into it coming into our building. And again, coming into the Ralph, we get everybody's best. So again, we'll have to make sure that we're sharp too.
Yeah, a chance to go to work again on Saturday for the guys coming up. When we come back, speaking of work, we're going to show you inside the training room at the work UND does off the ice. Stick around. Welcome back. Well, the harder I work, the luckier I get is a familiar quote from the late Ralph Engelstad, and it's one that the North Dakota hockey team really takes to heart, both on the ice and in the training room. This past week, North Dakota strength and conditioning coach Mark Pullman was gracious enough to let us into his world for an afternoon to see that mindset come to life.
What we do in the gym translates right over to on the ice. You know, that's where you get stronger, that's where you get faster, that's where you get quicker and more agile. What goes in the gym goes right on the ice. Mark knows exactly what he's doing. Every lift he includes has a purpose and does something for us, whether it's small stability muscles, fast twitch muscles, you know, there's a purpose.
Things that I can help them with is just power, explosion, some agility things, strength.
You're really not looking forward to some certain days. He can really hit you hard with some of the pairings and everything. It's all about the process, you know, day by day. They say it here every day. You just gotta every day bring your lunch pail to work, and whatever you want to work on, you just go at it 100% with a desire and passion to get better, and that's how you become a professional, and that's what being a professional means.
I want to teach them as much as I can, but a huge part of what I do here, I want them to learn how to take care of themselves so they're prepared before practice, after practice, day after day, so that when they do leave here, they have the tools to be able to be in any environment and know what they need to do to be prepared.
Now, everybody might already realize this who's watching, but again, all that we saw, that took place after a 2-hour practice. I think these kids work extremely hard to maximize their full potential every day, don't they?
Yeah, and we took that from the National Hockey League as far as after a Saturday night game and a day off the next day, that we want to make sure that our guys get a good workout in, and Mark Pullman does a great job of making sure that our guys get that workout.
Yeah, I know you're a huge Mark Pullman fan. He's been around this program for 22 years. Talk about what he means to North Dakota hockey.
Well, you know, he's a very impactful person in our group. You know, you think of the medical training side of it, and then also the strength training side of it. But the biggest thing for us with Mark Poolman is the credibility and respect he gets. You know, he puts his whole heart into his work. He knows the work, and also he does the work, which means that you have a gentleman that does the exact same workout that the players do, and I tell you what, that's accountability.
Well, on that note, Coach, we're going to let you go, but thanks so much again for the time this week as always. We'll see you back here to talk about it next week.
Thanks, Alex.
Brad Berry, friends. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up here on North Dakota Hockey with Brad Berry. Stick around.
North Dakota Hockey with Brad Berry on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota.
This Saturday, North Dakota takes to the ice in the annual Hall of Fame game against RPI at 7 p.m. and we'll have it for you live here on Midco Sports Network. Jake Brantz, Katie Hale, and I will have the call, and if you can't make it to the Ralph in person, we hope you join us here on Midco SN. We'll break that contest down for you right here at 6:30 next Tuesday night on North Dakota Hockey with Brad Berry. Until then, I'm Alex Heinert. We'll see you at the Ralph.